Hello to you guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to see you. And today we're gonna talk about why no matter how much you try, how much you manifest, how much you heal, bad things still happen to you. We have a little bouquet in the background. Yesterday I had my birthday. This is actually the bouquet over which I cried yesterday. And maybe I will tell you about it a bit later. Let's carry on with the topic of the video. So why does it happen that even despite the fact that you've been doing the inner work, you've been doing healing, you've been manifesting and so on and so forth, bad things still might happen to you? Let's start from the fact that in the grand scheme of things, there is no such thing as good things and bad things. There are things, okay? Our soul comes here for the experience, and the experience is neither positive or negative, it's just the experience, okay? I feel like it's just our human minds that are not willing to accept the spiritual side of our being. They divide things onto like good and bad. I think it's also ego divides things into good and bad. I understand when something horrendous happens in your life. The story of Thewizardliz is the example of it. You feel devastated. You are heartbroken, right? And you don't want to think about that spiritual shit whatsoever. Like it's the last thing you care about because you are hurt, right? She was hurt. When I was going through cancer, I was hurt. There is a reason to everything. And what I'm going to share next, it's my point of view on things. I'm not saying that this is true. I'm not saying that this is how things are. I'm not a guru here. I'm just sharing of what I feel like things are in this world. So I believe that some things we don't need to understand. Some things we just need to experience. Okay? Just think about it. Some things we do not need to understand. Some things we are simply meant to experience. I believe that we can manifest our dream life, we can manifest our dream partner, we can manifest whatever we want to manifest. But manifestation does not exclude your primary life lessons. There are multiple scenarios, right? There are multiple variants of what reality you can choose for yourself. But at the same time, sometimes there are certain milestones because they say that our soul chooses lessons for this life, right? And I believe that my soul chose cancer as a lesson. Maybe someone's betrayal is one of your main soul's lessons. Maybe it is why you may be doing the work, you may be healing, but at the same time, as soon as our soul comes here for sensual experience, some things we are simply meant to experience. Okay, so this is one point of view on things. Another point of view on things is that in a book year 2150, which is an absolutely amazing book, I highly recommend this book because honestly this book is like it's everything. Okay, so it says in this book that there is no such thing as karma, which I frankly disagree. Okay, because what is karma? Karma is a consequence of our intentional action, right? Either good or bad. There is good karma and there is bad karma, right? In the book 2150, it says that we choose certain experiences, we choose opposite experiences to balance things out. For example, in one of the incarnations, a soul could be a doctor who helps women to stop the pregnancy, okay? Which is in general a bad thing because you're preventing life to come to earth. In another incarnation, a person can be deprived of the possibility to have a child, okay? And neither of this is good or bad. It's just the balance. When you look at things from this perspective, that nothing is good or bad, you suddenly realize that, oh my God, yes, there is such an aspect in our lives as feelings, and feelings allow us to experience this life, right? Without feelings, there would be nothing. There would be no point. in living. There would be no point in living if we didn't have feelings. And our soul comes to earth for those feelings, for that sensual experience, you know? When you look at life from this perspective, yes, on the ego level, on a like human level, on the micro level, if I would be talking with the words from the book, it's like it's insane, it's devastating. Bad experiences are very bad experiences, and we start playing victims and so on and so forth. But on the macro level, we suddenly see that there is much bigger picture to all of that, to everything. There is a bigger picture to life. There is so many things that we can't see, and now you have a choice. You might be thinking that it's a complete nonsense what I'm saying right now, or you can make an assumption that actually it can be true. There is something in it, you know? For me personally, embracing that spiritual side makes my life so much easier, and it makes me understand certain things in my life that I couldn't explain and or find answers in multiple other sources. So to summarize, why bad things happen, one of the answers could be that you came for the sensual experience, like your soul is actually here after that sensual experience to balance things out, because maybe in some of your previous incarnations, or take into account that time isn't linear, right? That past, future, and present, they happen simultaneously. In one of your parallel incarnations, you chose a different experiences, and now what you have now that feels devastating, that hurts, that you literally may be feeling so sick and tired of, maybe it's your soul's choice. It's simply to balance things out, you know, because you are a soul first and foremost. You are a soul. Okay, another perspective on it is that if we take as an example the Thewizardliz situation, some people were saying that Liz manifested it. She manifested cheating. She manifested like betrayal, you know, through some of her words. There were clips from, you know, multiple videos where she was talking, imagine being pregnant and your partner is cheating on you. So she did say that. So like the power of words is a big thing. Like our words are so powerful, guys. It's very true. Our words are so powerful. We gotta be very conscious, very aware of how we communicate. Try to not use word imagine in a negative context. Try to not make like negative assumptions. Sometimes I can overthink things and think, oh my god, what if happens this, what if happens that. My anxiety is doing its job, and I start imagining all these bad things. And whenever I start imagining all these bad things, I say to myself, I cancel all of this. I cancel all of that I just imagined. I cancel all these negative scenarios. So I say I cancel, and it kind of makes me feel better. And you also, you know, with your words, because words are very powerful, like I just said, you literally send a request to the universe, if you want to God, whatever. By the way, what is very interesting is that now I feel more comfortable with using the word God than I used to. I think it's because in my religion, which honestly, guys, I don't assign myself to any of the religions. I was born Christian, but honestly, yeah, I'm not going to the church. I feel like I remain very neutral, and it works for me, you know. So in my religion, the Bible makes us fear God, because God is someone who wants to punish you and not to help you. That's why I never felt comfortable using the word God, you know, in the context of someone who actually wants to help me, support me. Back in the days, I just used to fear God so much, and I thought that I would go to hell, and it was insane. And also, religion is a very small part of spirituality. That is also worth mentioning. But no matter what you believe, no matter what word you're using, you're comfortable using, it's all about the same. In the end of the day, it's all about the same thing. If you find this video insightful and inspiring, please consider subscribing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next one. I'll see you soon. Bye bye.